Question 12. So this question is about collisions. State the principle of conservation of momentum. So if no net external force acts on a system, then its total momentum remains constant. In an experiment, an air rifle pellet is fired into a block of modeling clay that rests on a table. We're given a distance here over which it slows down. It's hit by the bullet. We're given the mass of the bullet, mass of the block, the velocity of the bullet initially, and how long it takes to stop. And it stops, so it comes to rest. Okay. Show that the initial speed of the clay block after the air rifle pellet strikes it is 4.8 meters per second. So the bullet strikes it, gets embedded inside. This is a conservation of momentum problem. So we can say Pi is m pellet v pellet, and Pf is equal to m pellet plus m block times v final. Okay, and we're asked to find v final here, and because it's the initial speed after it strikes it, so no force has had time to act on it yet, so we can say Pf equals Pi. So Vf times mp plus mb is equal to mpvp. So Vf is equal to mpvp over mp plus mb. And that is, the mass of the pellet was 2 grams, 0.002, times the speed of the pellet, which I think was 140 meters per second. And then we divide that by the total mass, which is 2 grams plus 56 grams, so that's 0.058 kilograms in total. And then we can calculate that with our calculator. Here we go. So 0.02 times 140 over 0.058 gives us 4.8275. That's 4.8275, which is about 4.8 meters per second. Okay, when it's a show question, we should always give our unrounded number first. Calculate the average frictional force that the surface of the table exerts on the clay block whilst the clay block is moving. Okay, the average frictional force is what slows it down. So what we can do here is work out the acceleration, because we know the distance here, and we know the initial speed now, and we know the final speed. And then we can multiply that by the mass to get the force. Okay, so acceleration is what we're trying to find. S is 2.8 meters, V is 0, and U is 4.8275 meters per second. And we use the equation that involves those 4 variables. That's V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. And V is 0, so we end up then with negative U squared over 2S equals A, which is negative 4.8275 squared over 2 times 2.8. So we have, actually let's stick with that. Let's just square that. And then put a minus sign. And then divide by 2 times 2.8. And that gives us an acceleration of about negative 4.1617. And that's in meters per second squared. and we were asked for the frictional force, so that's the force that's causing this deceleration. So F is equal to, or F net is equal to F friction, because that's the only horizontal force acting, which is equal to MA, which is 0.058, which was the mass that's sliding, that's the mass of the pellet plus the mass of the block, times the acceleration, which is negative 4.1617. So we can multiply this by 0.058, and we get negative 0.24 newtons, and the negative means in opposite direction to motion in this case. Okay. 12C. Discuss the energy transformations that occur in the clay block and the air rifle pellet from the moment the air rifle pellet strikes the block until the clay block comes to rest. So the first moment here is as pellet is embedded, its kinetic energy is converted to internal energy. That's what we call the kind of energy due to all the particles moving inside the object, which is kind of due to the heat that's been transferred. So its kinetic energy is converted to internal energy in the block and transferred to kinetic energy of the block. As block slides and decelerates, its kinetic energy is converted to thermal energy transferred to the table. Okay, cool. So that's question number 12. I think that was it. Oh no, there's one more part here. The clay block is dropped from rest from the edge of the table and falls vertically to the ground. The table is 0.85 meters above the ground. Calculate the speed with which the clay block strikes the ground. Okay, so for this one, we know that we can just use energy conservation. So we say mgh is equal to 1/2 mv squared. So v is equal to 2gh all square root, which gives us 2 times 9.8 times the height, which is 0.85, which gives us a speed of 2 times 9.8 and we square root that and we get 4.08 meters per second, which we should probably round to 4.1 meters per second.